What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. A very different kind of video today, obviously, because I'm in a vehicle. But you know what? I watched The Social Dilemma. I'm not in town this weekend. I had my camera. I said, I have to talk about this on YouTube. And that's what we're going to do today. I know it's an older film on Netflix, but everyone's talking about it. I had to get my input because I was fascinated. So leave your comments down below. Have you had the opportunity to check out The Social Dilemma? Of course you have. And were you as fascinated as I was? And let's get into it. So this documentary explores the dangerous human impact of social networking, with tech experts sounding the alarm on their own creators. And again, it's so weird making this vlog style review, but that's what we're doing. So I was very intrigued. I had a lot of people in the comments saying, Austin, you have to watch The Social Dilemma. And looking into it, watching the trailer, I said, oh, well, that's why I have to watch it, because not only are we getting a documentary talking about this situation and how modern technology has just kind of pushed all of our minds in a certain direction, whether that's towards or away from each other, and we'll get into that, but we're hearing this from experts, those that were actually a part of these corporations: Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. We get every account from almost every kind of person, type of person you could get. Those that have been there, and they see how these corporations, this type of technology, just kind of manipulates our minds as social media users. Now, that's something that I think we're all kind of aware of. I mean, we get on our phones and we go to certain apps and we spend me included, I'm including myself here, most of our time on our phones. And using the word addicted is something that I think a lot of people are going to take issue with, but honestly, that's kind of what it's turned into. It's turned into an addiction for a lot of us. Again, I'm including myself in this category, but to hear it from those that were there, and not only created the methods that are used to get our attention, whether it's advertisements, whether it's fake news, and we'll talk about that here in a second as well. Oh my gosh, so many things to talk about. But it's so interesting hearing the accounts firsthand. Those that were gutsy enough to go through with this, to take it as high as they could possibly take it, and to try their best to do something about it. It is a social dilemma. Now, the documentary itself, that's kind of what we're doing. We review movies on this channel, not just the wow factor of everything, learning all of this information, but that's part of it, right? With a documentary, it's all about the information that you soak it in and what way that information is told to us. Getting that from the experts was awesome. I loved hearing every bit of it. Now, the documentary does, at points, kind of lean in a certain direction, and it's not even me getting mad at what they were talking about specifically. I don't like when documentaries do this, when they're trying their best to get a point across, but instead of going straight down the middle, they just go one way. It wasn't too much. It didn't take my attention away from the documentary, but they do that. But they also kind of recreate some moments, some scripted scenes included in these documentaries, where family members are on their phones and doing everything they can to get a hold of their device, just kind of showing instead of telling. And they do tell. They tell a lot. So much information that I had to soak in. But maybe that came across as a tad bit cheesy, in my opinion, at points. Sometimes it was effective. And I did like the little showcase of what goes on behind the scenes when they're looking into all of the computers. Okay, this person's liking this person's Facebook post. I thought that was pretty cool. That was fun. But what I was really concerned with here is how this information was conveyed. And that's what really made me sit back and say, wow, not only am I on my phone too much, but this is all just kind of schematically planned out, and we are doing what they are building these devices to make us do, and that is spend all of our time on these specific apps. And it's so funny, I say this all the time. You'll talk about something, and then a few minutes later, you'll see that advertisement pop up on your Instagram. It's like, oh, they're always listening. Well, they're not only always listening. They are taking in that information and thinking of new ways to draw us in, and they say this in the documentary, keep us occupied as long as they can keep us occupied. But the best part about this documentary is when it starts talking about everyone, those of us that find our worth through our social media pages, and how this is built to do that and to make us feel a certain way. And I've been through this before. I mean, obviously, I have a YouTube channel. I run a page. That's what I do, right? But there was a point in my life, and I'll be honest with you guys, where I felt that getting views, getting those likes, if I didn't get what my goal was for that specific video or that specific post, I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like I was worth what we all are at the end of the day. I mean, we are worth so much more than just getting a like on an Instagram post, or, I mean, even on YouTube. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now because it's my job, it's my career, and being a movie critic is what I'm passionate about. But that's not what it's all about. And I feel like that's bringing, especially this generation, they talk about it, that's bringing this generation down so much if they don't reach that point of popularity, if they don't feel wanted online. And it's leading some kids to take their own lives. I mean, this is a serious deal. This is a big deal. And it's not that these companies are doing this for that reason. They're doing this for money, because the better it gets, hello person who pulled in next to me, the more money they end up making. So it is just a fascinating documentary, guys. And all of this information conveyed, again, I haven't even hit the surface of what we dive into here. It's great, it's fascinating, it's terrifying at times because, again, I'm seeing myself kind of fall into this category, being obsessed with my phone, allowing them to kind of script where my life goes, and then this civil war that this divisiveness is causing when it comes to, you know, politics and the election and the left and the right, and how that fake news, that agenda pushing, doesn't matter what side, one side or the other, it is constant, and it's built to divide us as people, as a nation, if you're in the United States. And that's scary, and it's working, especially in the midst of the pandemic, and we see them throw in the pandemic stuff, probably added in right before they finish this documentary, so pretty good timing. But it's so timely, it's so scary, and it is exactly, I mean, we see it. It's exactly what's happening. It's dividing this country. Left, right, it doesn't matter. The articles that are filled with fake news, and they bring up examples now. I'll admit, I went down the rabbit hole many a times, and there are certain things that I've seen and I've found and I've been able to research a bit more that maybe I believe a little bit about this, a little bit about that, but these more kind of, they talk about the flat earth thing that Kyrie Irving did. You see how these web pages, these websites, they see that and they say, oh, he's looking at this, or they're just kind of pushing that agenda towards everyone who has similar interests, and that's scary. What are we reading that's real? How do we find actual news? Because it's hard to find online, it's hard to find on television. It's up to us to do the research, and even when you're doing the research, it's hard to kind of authenticate these kinds of things. So again, I know I'm going on and on, but I could talk about this for forever. As a whole, as a documentary, it wasn't the most maybe well-executed documentary. Again, the skits were a little cheesy at times, but the information, that's what I wanted to talk about, and it's definitely one that I think everyone needs to watch. So in terms of a score, factoring all of those things in, I'm going to go 75%, a really solid score for The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix right now. It's been on Netflix for quite a while, but I do think it's one just for the information, knowing all of this, hearing it from the experts, which was the best part in my opinion. That's why I think this is at least worth trying. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry about this once again. I'm out of town, but I had my camera, had to talk about it. We'll be back to the normal set next time you see me. Appreciate it again. I'll see you later.